Hi, I'm Mandeep Singh, founder of mandeeps.com. In this video we'll be working with our Live Tabs module, in particular the SQL integration. Let's get started. What I have here is a default installation of .NETNuke 7, and I have a empty page on which I have Live Tabs module. So go ahead and go to Options. Then you can go ahead and put Live Tabs in SQL integration mode by simply switching the tab mode here to SQL Query. You can target several different connections. You don't have to execute SQL queries against your local .NETNuke database. You can choose your connection strength from here. So for this first example, I'm just going to target the site SQL server, which is the DNN database. Okay, so let me bring SQL Server or SQL Management Studio in the view. And I have the simple query, select from tabs. Tabs within the .NETNuke database refer to the individual pages within the site. For example, the home, about us, and so forth. So here's all the pages in the website. I'm not interested in everything, so I have this query pre-written in which I'm basically grabbing the 5 latest tab because I'm sorting on the created on date descending. And let's see what those were. So the last 5 tabs that were added to the site was Live Tabs, which is the page I'm working on. Mandeep's page, HTML editor manager, device detection, so forth. These are probably were added when the .NET installation was done. So here's what I've done. I've taken the tab name and gave it an alias called name, and I've taken the description of the page and gave it an alias called content. And these are very important because what Live Tabs does, it looks for these aliases and it will automatically take whatever is the name, create a tab out of it, and whatever's the content of it, it'll use that as the content. So let's see how this works. Alright, let's jump over to SQL Query here and paste that query in what we just saw in the SQL Studio. I'm going to also go to Themes, change the theme to vertical tabs, just column left, using default theme left orientation. And I'm also going to change the navigation width to about 30%. So let's go ahead and hit update and let's see what we have. There we go. So we have 5 tabs automatically created because those were the query we were using. We want to show the last 5 pages that were created on this site, and we're seeing their description as the content of the web page. And just to make sure this is all working, I can go ahead and go to the edit page and go to the page settings, verify that's what I have as for the description right here, and I can say I'm just updating this to make sure SQL integration is working fine. Let's go ahead and hit our page, and our module should automatically update that, and there it is. And that's it for simple integration. Let's look at some of the more complex ones. Let's head over to Options again, and this time we'll be executing a query against another database. So from the connections, I'm going to choose Mandeep's. And where do we get these connections from? They're coming from our web.config, so let me bring that into the view. So in your web.config, you'd specify the database servers for your .NETNuke site. That is the default site SQL server. In addition, I have 2 more connections specified. One of them is called AdventureWorks, which we'll be using later, and one of them is called Mandeep's. These are separate database. They could be a separate database machine all together on different networks. So this way you can target against external database. Alright, now that I've selected that, let's go ahead and see what we're going to be executing. I'm going to head over to mandeeps.com. And here on our home page we have our live blog module, which is showing our recent news. We have 5 recent posts here that is showing 5 different modules that were released and updated. So what I'm interested in is grabbing this information and showing in tabs. Let's see. Let's bring the SQL view into, and let's take a look at the table. So I have a table called live blog _post, and it has data It has a lot of posts, as we can see, and has a lot of data. Now I'm not interested in all this information, so I already have a query that's pre-written. I'm going to basically take just the 5 recent posts, because I'm sorting or ordering by on descending and created on, and I'm only interested in the title of the post and its content, which is right here. This is the HTML content. I'm taking the title and aliasating it as name, just like before, and since content is already called content here, I'm just leaving it as it is. So this is what the query returns. Let's take this query and head over to our live test module. So I'm going to go ahead and update my query, and I have updated the connection to Mandeep's. I'm also going to go ahead and change the theme this time. I'll choose the site theme, and I'm going to go ahead and change the orientation to left, so we have the vertical tabs. Let's update it and let's see what we have. There we go. We have our latest 5 blog posts, and we have its content right here on the right. I can go ahead and see which modules were released. I can follow the HTML links and read more about it. So that's how SQL integration allows us to bring other content and create tabs out of it. Now let's look at one more example, perhaps the most complicated one. Let me go ahead and bring SQL into the view again. This time we're targeting the AdventureWorks database, which is the sample database that's quite popular within the SQL world. I'm looking at the product and the customer table, and I'm just showing the top 5 rows here for data structure purposes. What I've done is created a store procedure that takes the data that's returned from the query and creates an HTML table out of it, so we can quite easily show it on our website. Let me show that to you. This query right here, select top 5 from product. I'm going to go ahead and plug that query right here into my store procedure, and what my store procedure does, it returns, if I execute it, a nice table HTML generated with the results of that table. Now I'm not interested in all the columns, so I'm going to go ahead and choose selected ones, and I already have the queries ready. So let's head over to Live Tabs and see how it works. Let's go to Options, and then again we'll change our connection this time to AdventureWorks, because I'm hitting a different database on a different server altogether. I'm going to grab my query. So this is a pretty complex query because I'm grabbing the data from quite different places and doing joins and so forth, but there's the query. And I'm going to head over to themes again. I'm going to change the theme. We'll go ahead and choose Flick this time, and let's see what we have. Okay, we have some data which is not very pretty looking, so let's go ahead. I'm going to go to settings and add some CSS to style my tables. And I'm just going to add it into header for demo purposes. Let's hit update. And there we go. Now what I have is 2 tabs. I'm showing all the recent orders from the AdventureWorks database right here. These were the recent orders, last 5 orders are replaced. And I'm also showing new customers. So here's the 5 new customers that were added in the database. So there you go. That's all it is for Live Types SQL integration. Now here's one more thing that I want to add on to before we go, and that is you're not limited to only 2 columns as aliases. Let me show one of the simpler queries here, which we started with. Now I'm not limited to only 2 columns, that is name and content. I have a lot more tokens or aliases I can use and customize my tabs, such as I can make particular certain tabs links and have them redirect somewhere else, or I can change properties on those tabs such as load on demand and so forth. I can even make them searchable within .NETNuke itself, and I can provide search summaries and so forth. Check out the documentation for more details. As always, we appreciate your feedback. If you have any questions or concerns, please use the help desk on our website. Thank you for watching the video.